What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journos Comics and Pop Culture. Today we have the second installment in this video series. Have these Marvel Spec books tanked? This video features Spec books from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Folks, I'm so excited to talk about 5 books today. These videos were inspired by viewers of the channel commenting saying, Marvel Spec books are tanking. There was a specific comment about this show's books as well. So whoever you are, if you're watching, I would love to hear your thoughts after you watch this video. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Check out all the awesome links below as well, including links to today's sponsor, popculturezone.com. And before we get into the books, let's take 60 seconds to check out popculturezone.com. Popculturezone.com is an online shop focusing on hot new comics, including exclusive and incentive variants, CGC graded comics, and tons of other inventory, including pop culture toys and other collectibles, all at low and competitive prices. PopCultureZone.com ships all over the US, and if you are buying raw comics, they offer flat rate shipping of only $4.99. That's right, $4.99. Absolute craziness, right? And there's no taxes included, excluding New Jersey. Pop Culture Zone is also on eBay, where they hold a 100% positive feedback rating with over 8,000 completed transactions for this year alone. Make sure to check out the link to their website below, as well as their eBay link, so be sure to give them a follow there as well. All right, everyone, how we're going to look at each book. We're going to have the most current sale of a specific CGC grade of that book. We're going to compare that to the fair market value during the show, and we're also going to look at fair market value before the show aired, and we're really going to be looking at what this book has done on the market during those 3 points in time. All right, the first book on the list is Captain America 117. This is the first appearance of the Falcon. Now, obviously, this is already a solid Silver Age key, but again, let's just look at the numbers and how the Falcon and Winter Soldier show impacted this book. So right now, we're using 9.2 grade as an example for this one. So a current CGC 9.2 sale went for $2,550. The fair market value of this book during the Falcon and Winter Soldier at its peak was $3,300. So is that a drop? Well, yes, it is, because if you look at the plus minus ROI, return on investment, it's a drop of 23%. So everyone's going to look at that and freak out, right? Oh my gosh, the book's tanking and no. Calm down. Let's look at a number here, another number here. Fair market value pre the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Now keep in mind, what I did for the pre, it wasn't like 2 years before or even a year before or anything like that. It was pretty much 3 months before the air date of the show. So we already knew about the show. We already knew about many of the characters. Now, obviously, we didn't know about all, but of course, we knew that Anthony Mackie was going to be the showrunner for Falcon and Winter Soldier alongside Sebastian Stan. So keep that in perspective. Pre the Falcon and Winter Soldier, fair market value in the 9.2 was sitting at $1,178. So what I did here with this current plus minus ROI, that's in relation to what it's selling at right now, the $2,550. So basically, if you purchase this book in a CGC 9.2 a couple months before the show aired and paid around that $1,178, and you sold it today around that $2,550, you would have made a profit, a return on investment of 116%. That is more than double your money. Now, if you would have sold it at the peak during the show, you would have had an even bigger profit. But again, this is all perspective. And I'm not going to talk about right now what that means, because we're going to look at all these books. So stick around to the end, and then I'm going to explain what this means and what the trend is for these books and why, yes, folks, tanking, put a question mark after it. Let's move on to the next book, though. All right, we have Machine Man, number 6, first appearance of Power Broker. So obviously, the Power Broker was the individual behind the scenes we knew was pulling strings throughout the show. And then, of course, at the end of the show, we got the reveal of who the power broker was. Let's look at these numbers. A current CGC 9.6 sale, $55. Still a very affordable book. During the show, the fair market value was $64. Not much difference. That is a drop of 14%. But look at this once again. Fair market value pre the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, $36. So again, if you purchased it before the show and sold it today, roughly, hypothetically, you would have made a 53% profit. We're seeing a trend here, aren't we? All right, let's move on. But before we get into the next book, I do want to remind you all, folks, if you are in need of comic book supplies, check out bcwsupplies.com. There is the link below. Use the code JOURNOS and receive 10% off of your order. You can use it on any type of order, large or small, and you can use it as many times as you want. The code never expires. All right, the next book on the list is Captain America 25. Sam Wilson becomes Captain America. This was a big one. For those that don't know, if you've been hiding under a rock, Sam Wilson took the mantle of Captain America in this show. And of course, there's going to be Captain America 4 coming out. Let's look at these numbers. Current CGC 9.8 sale, $299. Fair market value during the show, $500. That's a 40% drop. Now, I'm not ignoring that this is a decently large drop. All right, that's solid. $200 drop. But look at this, folks. Fair market value before the show, $96. That is an increase or return on investment of 211%. Meaning, if you bought the book then and you sold it today, you would have more than tripled your money. Tanked? Has this book tanked? Question mark. We got a couple more books and then I'm going to answer those questions. All right, next up we have Captain America 3, 31st appearance of John Walker, the U.S. agent. Obviously, John Walker played a huge role in this show. He's the character that you'd love to hate. God, he annoyed me at first, but then he annoyed me in a good way at the end. I was like, I like this guy, but I hate him, right? Let's look at these numbers. Current CGC 9.8 sale, $530. Fair market value during the show, $774. So again, a 32% drop. That's a decent drop. But look at this. Fair market value before the show, $203. So that is a current ROI of 161%. Again, that's huge. That is huge, folks. You can't deny it. Let's look at one more book, and then we're going to break it down. All right, Strange Tales 159, the first appearance of Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. But don't call her Val, call her Contessa. Current CGC 9.2 sale, $1,100. Fair market value during the show. It broke the $2,000 mark, $2,050, folks. Wow. Again, this saw the biggest drop out of all of these books in 46%. It dropped almost half the value there. That's big. But look at this, folks. Look at this. Fair market value pre the Falcon and Winter Soldier. $192. If you bought the book just a month before the show, maybe even weeks before the show, maybe even during the first couple of episodes of the show, and you still sold it today, you would have made a profit, a return on investment of 473%. You, what's the word, quintified? you almost sextuplified your investment. I don't even know if those are words. You made out big time. So, what is the theme of all these books, and how do we answer if these books have tanked or not? Simply, no, they have not tanked. They have not tanked. They have not popped even. What they've done was they've set new floors in large amounts. but they've cooled off as a normal, healthy market does. Ebb and flow, folks. There's no need for alarm. We know how speculation books, especially when it comes to the MCU, work these days. There is a lot of FOMO involved. Demand gets reactionary, and people drive these books up, and they do peak, and they do come back down to earth sometimes, and sometimes by a decent amount, as you can see with this book. But what do? Once again, they set new floors. And we will never see this book set it anywhere close to that old floor of $192 before we saw this character in this show. It's all about knowing when to buy, folks. Know when to buy. If I say this all the time, if you're a fan of Marvel and a fan of the MCU, you should be educated enough to, follow the breadcrumbs, to put the puzzle pieces together, and to understand what are solid specs before we even get an announcement, a casting, or a cameo appearance. Boom, here they are in the show, an end credit scene, or anything like that. We should be smart enough to catch it 8 out of 10 times. And if you do that, you can come out big. But if you miss the boat, you have to be smart and know, well, do I really want it now, even though there's a risk of this book cooling off? You gotta be willing to take that risk. Or do you have patience, allow the book to cool off some, and strike when it fits you best then? Like, say, for right now, you could buy this book at $1,100, save yourself almost $1,000 from buying it a few months back, right? But still, you spend almost 5 times as much as you would have pre-airing of the show. So it's always a risk. It's always a game to be played, folks. But these books are not tanking whatsoever. They're doing what any healthy market does. And for those that watched the WandaVision video that I did on the same concept, the same trend happened for almost all those books. There was one book that continued to increase that didn't see a dip. But the few others had this very same trend going on where they dipped a little bit, but they were massively up from that old floor pre-WandaVision show. So I'm looking forward to doing more of these for some of the other shows, and I even want to do a couple for some of the films. And I don't know about you all, I'm definitely hopeful and confident that we are going to see very similar trends. And before I wrap up my statement on this, I want to say one more thing. Most, if not all, of these books on this list still have very, very solid long-term potential. Especially this book right here is a Silver Age key. And I've said for years now, Strange Tales has been a run with a lot of key books that have been overlooked and undervalued for a long time, right? You got Captain America 117, another Silver Age key with a very iconic character, even more iconic now to this generation, with what Anthony Mackie's done with Sam Wilson, right? You have books that are going to continue to increase regardless of movie hype. They're going to be solid long-term investments, but you might still see some ebb and flow with new floors being set. Once we get like a trailer for the Captain America 4, most likely that Captain America 117 book, or even the Sam Wilson first appearance to Captain America 25, where Sam becomes Cap, you're probably going to see those spike up, shoot up, and they might cool off a little bit once that movie drops back down, but I guarantee you they'll be more than probably where they're at right now still, and they'll never reach the fair market value where they're at right now, and there's going to be a new floor set. And that's the way the cookie crumbles, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. I want to hear your thoughts below. But before we go, as always, I have to thank all of my members of the channel, starting with my Patreon members who support me month after month. If you guys are interested in joining via Patreon to get extra perks monthly, it's only $3.99. The link is below. Big shout out to Go Jackets, Justin, Kenwick, Jordan, Reapers, X11, Shelby, Kenneth, Rich, Tony, Marty, Larry, Michelle, Tyler, Keith, Jeremy, Michael, Tricky Clicky, Alvin, Fletch, Pedro, Peter, Joji, Larissa, Sagi, Dan, and Simon. But of course, I also have to thank my YouTube channel members. If you are interested in becoming a YouTube member, you do get perks with this membership as well. But more importantly, you do support the channel and help continue to allow me to do this every single day. That's only $1.99 a month by clicking that join button below. Big shout out, Lyricist, Buddy, That Mountain Air, Josh, Jimmy, Reaper's Comic Dan, Ariel Red, Azorus Tiger, Go Jackets, Matt, Labno, Battle 66 Delta, Comic Journey, X11, Gordon, Metal Maniac, Joshua, E-Dub, Mick, Arthur, Sean, Simon, Shadow Rat, Comic Ozzy, Kaya B, Ghost Junk, Battle Panda, Primetime Treasure Hunter, Rupert, Michael, Louis Logix, Luis, Peter, Tony, and Chris. Thank you all so much. Again, I want to hear your thoughts on the video in the comments below. Be well, everyone. Until next time.